earthquake, orange, black, and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these fights. Wake up the beast, every day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle dripping heat, tigers strike the city streets. East side stand up, west side stand up. If you reppin' who day, time to put your hands up. Bengals stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Who day in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we live it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the pounds, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move dancing on? Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em. Like that black and orange upon 'em, bingo bottle, never stop it till the beast and know who they rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossing on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen, we gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move dancing on? Now who wanna move on? Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Turnipole. And as always, I'm bringing you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of Jackpot Joey and the AFC North champion Cincinnati Bengals. Now, if you have not had any of this delicious Jackpot Joey beer, make sure you check it out because it is actually over in Kentucky now. It's at Cork and Bottle. Hold on, I gotta get a drink of this. Oh, it's delicious. You know, it hits the back of your throat. Oh, it's so good. Not only delicious, but it's award-winning. And portions of it and the Jackpot Joey brand things like hats, hoodies, flags, stuff like that. Portions of the proceeds go to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund and the Joe Burrow Fund. We made another substantial donation to both those funds on Monday. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you and how happy and proud I am to be a part of this. That you guys support the Jackpot Joey stuff. The Bengal players support the Jackpot Joey stuff. So I appreciate it. Like I said, we're helping people out. So if you want any of the beer or anything, go to Cork and Bottle, Kentucky, Jungle Gyms here on the west side. I think it's out on Harrison Kroger. Delhi Liquor, the Delhi drive-thru has it. Dubers has it, and I know there's lots of other places, but those are the only ones that I know around where I live. So anyway, if you guys are interested, go buy some Jackpot Joey beer and some Jackpot Joey merchandise. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, do me a favor. If you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. You guys are awesome. I'm up to 1,972 subscribers. That is awesome. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Now, if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, why not? Please do so. Please go to the YouTube channel, Sports with Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for the notification, and every time I go live, you'll be notified. And also, exclusively, and the YouTube chat crew, we're doing super chats. So if you got something from Santori, because, you know, every Wednesday we do film study here. You got a question for Santori, or you want to tell him he's wrong about something because he loves it when people try to challenge him. Give me a super chat. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, this show and every show is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. If you need a house, a condo, an apartment, whatever, T Properties has it. Make sure you go check it out. Now, this Saturday, as you guys know, we started this way. As you guys know, we are an ambassador, sponsor, whatever of Betfred Sports. And betting is going to be legal here in Ohio come January 1st. And everybody's heard the story of how I would have won enough money to go to the Super Bowl and watch the Bengals win if I was able to place a $100 bet on the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl in 2021, which I was legitimately going to do that. January 1st, it's going to be on your phone. It's going to be so simple. It's going to be an app. And you download January 1st. Best way to do that, hit this link right here. BetFredSports.com/Ohio/Bengals_boys2. Sign up there. Not only do you get a chance to make a bet and they give you a $20 free bet, but you have a chance to win Bengals tickets. They're giving away 4 tickets to the Bengals-Chiefs game this week. So make sure you stay tuned to Betfred social media accounts, not necessarily mine, but the ones that are actually linked to Betfred. Check out there for the winners and your email. So the way to get this is to go sign up right there and get yourself a chance to win Bengals tickets. And like I said, they give you $20 in free bets. $20. You go out there, bet the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. Who knows? But come join me Saturday morning. I'll be down there at Moreland House at 11 a.m. to help people get signed up for Betfred. So if you want to come out and meet me, say hi, tell me you love the show, you hate the show, whatever. Tell me Santori sucks, whatever. Tell me Santori's awesome, whatever. come and meet me down at Moreland House. We'll be outside. They're doing a kind of like a Christmas store out there on the grassy area. So make sure you come check us out. I'll be out there at 11 a.m. this Saturday. Now, full disclosure, this is going to be the last show for this week because Thursday, obviously tomorrow, is Thanksgiving. Friday is my beautiful bride's birthday. She's going to be turning 23 years old. So I'm going to be spending the entire day with her. So this is the last time you guys get to see me until Saturday if you guys want to come down and say hi. All right, that's enough of that. Let's get into the Bengals. And this, I want to say heater they're on. Since the Cleveland game, they've been on a heater, I think. And they're going to roll in this Sunday to Tennessee, where I will be at the game. Me, Prince Ice, Matty Myers, Jackpot Joey himself, Dale Ramey. We're heading all down on the Jackpot Joey mobile. We're going to be invading Nashville. Now, let's get to Santori because he can give us a film study of what they've been doing good, what they've been doing bad, and why things are going so good right now. Here's Santori. What's up, brother?
How we doing?
Good, man. Good. I'm enjoying, like I said, I'm enjoying this heater. I'm not so calm. It's a heater we're on. We're doing pretty good here.
They're playing pretty well, and quite frankly, they're not clicking yet. So they're going to get
scary.
Yeah, they're still not clicking. They're not firing on all cylinders yet. They haven't had a complete game yet.
Exactly.
That's kind of the scary thought. My favorite number to kind of look at is the last 10 quarters without Jamar Chase. They've hung up 92 points, which is 9.2 points per quarter. It comes out to about 37 points per game. That's a lot. that would far and away be the leader in the NFL this year, and it wouldn't be particularly close. So exactly. They're heating up at the right time.
Now we got a comment here, and I kind of like you to comment on this because you thought he might have been back last week. Devontae said, so I heard that Joe Burrow said in his press conference today that Jamar Chase is expected to play Sunday in Tennessee Titans. What do you say?
Well, he's going to play first and foremost.
We thought he was going to play last week.
I was told by a little birdie that he was going to play last week, and it crushed my heart. But around Friday, that same birdie told me he is still cleared, but the Bengals are being
overcautious.
Which
is not a bad thing. They
felt they could beat the Steelers without Jamar.
Yeah,
and they didn't want Jamar taking shots at him. Is kind of how I was told. He's been cleared for a week, and to prove my point, you don't go from being crutches on Sunday to being cleared on Tuesday night. Just saying. So no, he's good to go. He's healthy. The injury was not nearly as bad as what the media made it out to believe. I'm not allowed to say what the injury was, but I can tell you it was more or less needed 2 to 3 weeks to heal, and then they wanted to give it 1 more week buffer. He's playing. He's fine. There's not going to be any long effects. There's not going to be any surgery needed. My guess, with all the information that I was given, I'm not a medical expert. This is just going off what I've been told, is it was probably like a bone bruise. I'm not even quite sure there was a fracture. I'm not sure there was actually labrum damage.
You weren't told any of that part. You're just kind of
This is me speculating.
right from what you've been told. Yes.
The exact phrase I was told was, I can't tell you what the injury actually is.
Right.
And that kind of tipped me off to, okay, it's probably not a fracture.
Yeah.
And then the phrasing after that was, but I can tell you it's not that serious. There's no long-term effects, and he'll be good as new in a couple weeks.
So that's why I kept telling everybody, I was like, I think he might be back for Pittsburgh. And like I said, Santori's not going to tell me something that he doesn't believe that's true. So
no,
I believe
and for reference, 3 years ago, Mixon was doubtful against the Steelers. He had a nasty ankle injury, and then he went from doubtful to starting within 12 hours. This is the same guy that told me he's playing tomorrow. Be ready.
There you go.
So he's been 100% spot on in the past, and quite frankly, he's still right, or he was medically cleared. The Bengals just didn't want to roll the dice and risk anything, which is probably the smart move right now.
Yeah, we saw the cheap shots that the Steelers were taking on Burrow and Tyler Boyd and all that stuff. So,
but the statement still stands. He's been healthy. He is healthy, and now he is for sure playing.
All right, so let's get into this one here. Mike says, note that Chase is back. What you think the percentage is in regarding of victory this Sunday? I guess the percentage of Chase passes, is I'm assuming is what he means compared to how much.
No, I just think he wants to know what he thinks our chances of winning are now that Chase is back.
Fuck.
And this is just
sorry.
This is just me being, as my co-host Greg Luther likes to say, overly realistic.
Yes, you are. Yes,
we
love you and hate you for that too, all at the same time.
you have 2 playoff teams. It's probably 50-50. You are favored going into Tennessee, last I checked, which is weird. I mean, the home team gets 3 points.
What are they favored by? Do you know?
Last I saw, I think it was like a point or 2 points. So right. I mean, it's enough to where they think we would win by 5 on a neutral field. We'll put it that way. And they still think we're going to go into Tennessee and win. So I think there's a good chance you're going to win. I don't think there's any game this year that you're out of. Chances of clinching the division. You're not going to like me on this one.
Yeah.
I figured you wouldn't. I'm not going to say.
I knew the answer to this one already, so I just put it up there.
I'm not going to say 0, but maybe 5 to 10%. Baltimore's got a 1-game lead. They have the division tiebreaker based on that record. They don't really have a hard schedule the rest of the way. If Baltimore finishes with anything less than 11 wins, I would be shocked, which means that you have to win out.
Anthony, we're going to win the division. I'm with you, brother. Screw Santori. I'm just kidding.
But no, if they win,
it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
You know, if they win 4 of their final 7, which is less than the pace they're currently playing.
But it's doable.
Right. But if the Ravens win 4 of their final 7, which is a lower winning percentage than they currently have, we have to win out.
Yeah.
So you need the Ravens to have a losing record, and for you to only lose 1 game the rest of the year.
They're going to lose. They're going to lose at least 1 or 2 more games than they shouldn't. Because hell, they almost lost to Carolina, dude. They lost 3 14-point leads. I mean,
that's why I won't say 0%,
right, exactly.
Just because shit happens.
Right.
It is the NFL. Baltimore's had a tendency over the last 10 years to fall apart at the finish line. And God knows what those teams are going to look like in 5 weeks. That's a lot of physical punishment from a physical team down the stretch. Mm-hmm. They're quite frankly a tweaked hamstring away from not being able to move the ball. And I think we all know what I mean by that. Mm-hmm. They're a very volatile team. They're very tough. They're very physical, but physical teams don't last long. They grind down pretty easy, especially if you don't have depth, and they don't. So they've been very, very fortunate with injury luck, much like the Bengals have. But if they start getting hurt, and physical teams do, they could be in trouble. But the Bengals are going to have to ball out.
Now, speaking of that, we'll we'll get back into Tennessee here later on in the show. But let's roll back to last week and I think they've been playing great. I mean, last week the guys, intangible guys, stood out. Trent Taylor, Trent Irvin. Intangible, I'll say this, but T. Higgins, he's a number one wide receiver on anybody else's team, but I mean, he really balled out. I mean, Samar J. Piron, fear the beard, suck my Piron, whatever you want to say. We had these guys that are cogs in this team. T's not a cog. T's a superstar. More of the other guys are cogs that stepped up and balled out on Sunday, and that's a sign of a championship team to me. And that's what happened last year. We had guys step up.
It's a sign of good coaching, as much as a lot of people don't want to hear that. When you can plug in Trenton Irwin and Trent Taylor and Samaje Perine and Travion Williams, and you don't miss a beat, it means that you either have incredible depth and incredible talent, which they're not the most talented guys on the planet. No one's even going to argue that. But it means they know their responsibility and they're ready to rock and roll.
So all right. Oh, geez, I forgot his name. Kick returner. You just said his name.
Travion Williams.
Thank you, Travion. I can't want to say Trent. Travion, is he your kick returner moving forward? For me, I'm saying yes. So at least until he proves us wrong.
I mean, I've got 3 that I'm comfortable with. I know a lot of people haven't been enamored with what Chris Evans has done this year, and he hasn't been great.
But he hasn't been given almost every time they kick the ball, kick it over his head. I mean, to be honest,
my dad likes to make the joke that if he has a football card this year, it's going to be him doing the fair catch.
Yeah, exactly. What did you break?
I knocked over a water bottle.
Oh, okay. Don't let it go on your computer.
No. No, I mean, I'm okay with it. And this is a statement my dad's kind of been going to over the last probably year or two that I'm starting to really kind of. It's not that I never understood what he meant, but I'm just kind of starting to agree with it as time goes on. Kick returner is probably the least important player on the team.
Yeah, as of right now, yes. I mean, you barely ever get a chance to actually return the ball.
So I think 25% of kicks are actually returned, and of the 25% that are returned, it's like 40% have a penalty thrown on them. So you might return 12% of your kicks if there's 3 a game. So let's say there's 45 a year. I mean, you're looking at maybe 10 or 12 returns a year that don't get called back. I mean, it's a very, very, very thin number. That's maybe 3/4 of a play per game that you need the guy for. I'm not just let it roll in the end zone. I don't really care at this point.
Now here, this is a good comment because you gave me crap about my Twitter. I copied on this, but you like this comment. Now that the Steelers have been eliminated, what are the chances the Browns will still be a thorn in our sides when we face them in Week 14?
So first and foremost, the Steelers are not eliminated from the playoffs.
He goes, I retweeted. He goes, this is not true. I'm like, shut up, Santori. I don't care.
Maybe mentally eliminated. They have a very, very tough battle. But until you are mathematically crossed off the board, I don't count that as eliminated. I've seen teams run the table at the end. The Giants won the pennant, if you guys ever want to research that one. But no, the Steelers are 3-7 with 7 to go, and the Ravens are 7-3 with 7 to go. If the Steelers win out, that includes two.
But I mean, let's be honest.
Well, hold on. They're not going to, but let's say they do.
I mean, it's legitimately a 2-team race. I mean, the Browns are out and the Steelers are out. Legit.
Just understand the math really quick.
No, I know. But
the Ravens have a 4-game lead with 7 to go. The Steelers could still theoretically win the division by 3 games.
Yeah, they don't have a 1-game lead on us. Is that correct?
They have a 1-game lead and currently the tiebreaker, which is going to be really hard to beat.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm not saying we can't win a division, but I don't. I would love to win a division. We might, but all you gotta do is get in. I mean, honestly, legit, just get in.
Here's the deal: if they win the division, they're not getting home field advantage, which means they're going to have to go on the road after 1 game anyway.
Just like last year.
Yeah. I trust Joe Burrow on the road against just about anybody. If you can go into Kansas City and kick their ass, then who am I afraid of? You know,
right? Exactly.
Just get in. You got the quarterback that it doesn't matter. Just get in.
I mean, Phil, fan of the year, brought up on Monday. He goes, "I'd like to have some home games here. I would love it too, but reality of the situation is, we most likely will only have one, and the only way we get one is if we win the division. We're most likely, I hate to say, most likely we're probably going for the wild card. I mean,
well, that's the path of least resistance. So
yeah,
take it.
And teams win the wild card. That win the Super Bowl. The Buccaneers did it 2 years ago. So
to my knowledge, it's happened 3 times since 2005.
Yeah,
Steelers did it in 2005. The Giants did it when they took down Brady when they went 8-8, and then the Bucs did it a couple years ago. I mean, it happens. So don't.
Yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
I mean, the people that get mad about that, I'm like, would you rather just not make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, if you really look at it, it's only one. We go from one playoff game to none. And after last year's run, if we're healthy, dude, I'll go play anywhere. Nobody scares me.
Like I said, if I've got Joe, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time I would ever be considering pushing for a higher seed is if I'm 2 pushing to 1.
Right. Yes.
The difference between a 2 seed and a 7 seed, yeah, there's an easier road for sure. But everybody you're playing is a playoff team, just like you are for the next 6 weeks. So if I get there after this schedule, I'm battle tested. I don't care. Let's rock and roll.
Exactly. All right, so let's get into this film study here. What do you got from us for the first one here from last week's? I won't say shellacking, but dude, that was
no, they kicked their ass. You're up by 14 with 2 minutes to go. You've kicked somebody's ass. I don't care about garbage time.
Thank you. That's what I wish I wouldn't have scored that last freaking touchdown, because everybody's like, "Arr."
Whatever.
Dude, we kicked your ass. Shut up.
Yeah, we had backups, and I don't care. Yeah, if you just want to pod that up for me.
Oh yeah, you're waiting on me. Yeah, duh. I'm saying,
yeah.
You do it. I got to do it. There you go.
So this isn't anything crazy. This isn't anything complex. This is pretty straightforward, in all honesty. But the reason I want to show it is because this is what teams have kind of been doing to us over the last couple weeks. So to start, remember, it was just a bunch of cover 2. And everybody's, there's always one thing every year everybody likes to hyper focus on. The last couple of years, it was RPO. Before that, it was a zone read. Now it's cover 2. It's just whatever the current trend is kind of what the media pumps out. It's like everybody learns a new basic term, and we all have to figure out what it is.
That's why you sound cool doing it. So you sound like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, cover 2 has been around for like 400 years. I know. That's
Holy crap! They were doing it back before Christ.
Oh right? God. Yeah. So no, cover 2 is the equivalent of like shading a center fielder a little bit toward right center when you have a left-hander up. Like, it's not anything complex.
Right.
What's different though is because they were running, deep high, teams were killing us on the pass rush. They could just drop everybody back, and Joe didn't have time to pick zones. Then the blocking got a little better. And then they kind of put the RPO in there. And then, Jamar Chase went down. Everybody's kind of evolving different things here, right?
Right.
What is the one coverage we know that the Bengals love to see because they slice it up?
Oh, man-to-man.
Right.
Yeah.
Steelers ran a metric ton of man-to-man in this game. I don't know why.
Because they're dumbasses.
So first look on this play, you wouldn't think man-to-man, but I'm just going to kind of draw it out for us really quick. So you've got your safety here. He's got this half. You get this guy. He's got this deep half. You're locked up here. You're locked up here. Locked up here. Locked up here. I've only got this guy, and he's spying. Unless he drops straight back into a middle, which would kind of look like a deep Tampa 2, which would also require this guy to drop and this guy to drop and this guy to drop. It's not a Tampa 2. So you have straight man here with a little bit of 2 high over top. And what we do is we call that cover 2 man. Basically, they said, you're not going to get to us. You're just not going to be able to sack us. They trust their line at this point, and they're letting their athletes get in space and be athletes. And the best thing about this entire process is the route that Hayden Hurst runs, because he's on Miles Jack. And Miles Jack is an incredible athlete,
right?
First and foremost. But he kind of starts with a little bit of a jab step, gets an outside release, and cuts upfield. It does 2 things, and I'm going to erase all of this junk up here just so I can give everybody kind of a clean slate to see what I see. When you have that jab step, like this end right here, if in a perfect world this end has the chance to get hands on a tight end, which means at least chip him, bump him, punch him in the chest, whatever he's got to do, he's going to do it. And you can actually see slight hesitation. I believe it's Highsmith. He takes a little bit of a jab step and follows him, but then he realizes I'm so far out of position, I still have to rush. It delays him so much. And you'll see why in a second when we go to the tight view. But he gets out of position, and then he has to rush, delays him, and Miles Jack just gets put in a freaking blender. I'm trying not to cuss because Tom's watching, and I know he doesn't like that. But he gets put in a blender.
All for Tom.
And it's wonderful. So we're going to start the play. You can see how he had this kind of jab step and then cut underneath.
Right.
And we can already see it's man because you're locked up here, getting drops. Their hips are open to their receivers. This is 100% too high shell. So remember, when we say cover 2, it doesn't necessarily have to be zone. This is cover 2 man. Okay. So Joe's just going to run some underneath stuff and just wait for one of his guys to get open, which Hayden Hurst is going to push this seam right here. And he's going to snap back inside. And what ends up happening is he ends up, because he's in man, one of the things with man is you don't want to let them get to your inside hip, okay? Especially if you have no help in the inside, which they don't right now because that middle linebacker is spying Joe. He's kind of just dancing in this area. He's just got eyes on Joe. He's just trying to make sure that Joe doesn't run anywhere.
Right.
So when you have man, especially when your tight end is starting to get wide, you have to make sure that your hips match up in that the furthest he gets inside on you, you want that outside shoulder to be on his sternum, okay? So Miles Jack is going to do everything he can to still be on the inside of Hayden Hurst, and it just really doesn't work. He stretches it out far enough, puts a foot in the ground.
Hang on.
And that's all she wrote.
See ya.
And there's no one in the middle of the field because they weren't running zone. And now it's just off to the races. Now, Miles Jack, this is where I would question his football intelligence just a little bit. So normally a tight end does not have a 2-yard gap in between him and the line if he's attached. Not saying this doesn't happen because that is a normal scheme to do. But if he's that far off, this is one of those things where we talk about reading your keys.
Right.
That should tell you one of two things is happening. He's getting an outside release and is trying to spread the defense out and work the box, spread everything, get spacing, or he's going to come flying across this way. So I'll draw what I mean there. He's either going to start working up the field this way to try and create spacing, or he's going to go for that sift block, which is that inside zone where everybody else would flow this way, and then he would snap all the way back across.
Right.
Okay. So you need to be anticipating that this is either an inside zone or he's trying to widen you out. Either way, this is a huge key that he is so far off from Jonah that something involving him specifically is about to go down. All you've got to do is count and go, yeah, I could drive a motorcycle through that gap. There's probably something going on here.
Right.
Okay? It's not rocket science. It doesn't look normal. There's a reason for it.
Right.
And you can see. He snaps. He widens out. Highsmith has to take a hesitation step to get underneath. Ends up helping Jonah. Look how much separation there is.
Huge.
That's
huge.
5 yards of separation.
Dude, there's no way. Yeah, I say there's no way around him at all.
That's a nightmare. That's what happens when you run man against the Bengals. Their athletes are too good in space.
Okay? Which it surprises me because that was one of the things, I kept hearing about Tampa 2. Don't do that against you want to do that against the Bengals. You don't want to run man. Why in the hell did the Steelers do that?
Because the last couple weeks teams have been running Tampa 2 and Joe's been getting blocking. And if
because we've been killing them, that's why.
So if you've been getting blocking and you're sitting in a zone, Joe's just going to go pat, 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 and Boyd's going to settle down. And there were times where it's like, the yards per attempt are sitting at 6.8 or 7.2, but they're just chunking them all the way down the field, and teams get tired of that. Teams don't like dying by 1,000 paper cuts.
That's a great point. That's one of the things I kind of kept trying to tell people. I was like, because everybody said, we need a deep shot. We need a deep shot. We need a deep shot.
No.
I was like, no, we need to take what the defense is giving us.
Right.
Then once they suck in, because they're eventually going to, that's when you take the deep shot.
So when you talk about adjustments in football, there's an adjustment, then there's your adjustment, then there's an adjustment to the adjustment. It's weird to say, but there's like 3 adjustments that happen, right? And you hope that your adjustment to the adjustment happens around this time a year, because you don't want to make that final adjustment right before the playoffs, and now everybody's got a ton of tape of, okay, this is how we're going to stop them again. And that's what happens, because some teams peak too early. The Bengals haven't peaked yet, and they're still winning.
They're still not. They still haven't peaked yet, Santori. No. They're still, I mean, because we're doing all this stuff without our best weapon. His name's Uno, Jamar Chase, and he's coming back this weekend.
Correct. So, again, the Steelers, if you want to pod that one up for me.
Yep, gotcha.
They did what I consider a cardinal sin, and I know this varies per coordinator. I just absolutely hate doing this. They decided they were going to run man again, but not only did they do that, they were going to run man inside the 5-yard line, which I just absolutely loathe. I never called it. I fought against it. All it takes is for one person to get this much separation on you, and it's a touchdown, especially down here. It's so quick.
All right.
So the Bengals kind of, not this specific passing concept, but there's how do I want to word this? There's patterns and there's concepts, right?
Right.
And then there's strategy. So the strategy is called a high-low, which is where you run someone low and then you run someone high behind it.
It's not a high-low where you hit them high and you hit them low, you knock them on their ass.
Well, kind of, but it's in a route concept.
Okay.
The way it works is, and I'll kind of draw it up here, you have someone that's going to end up here, and you have someone that's going to end up here. And if they're in cover 2, you look for your honey hole shot, which is that stuff that Joe hit all year last year.
Yeah,
right?
I heard you say that multiple times on the show since we did it. The honey hole. That's
right. So the issue.
Actually, can you explain what the honey hole is real quick for people who don't know?
I'll do it in a second because this is a weird view.
All right, go ahead.
Basically, if you're in cover 2, the honey hole is a nightmare because you can't cover it. But as the field shrinks, because you're in the red zone and in the end zone specifically, cover 2 works great. Quarters works great. I don't like cover 3, but you can get away with it. You need to cover the flats and you need to have a safety over top. You need to create zones in the end zone. It makes it really, really, really hard to fit passes in. If you run man, all it takes is for one little oopsie and you've got an issue.
Right.
Okay. So the Bengals kind of run a high-low here against man, and all it's going to take is for one of these guys to get open.
Okay.
So this is the Trent Irwin touchdown. What you have here is he kind of works inside, kind of toward the back, and then he flattens out, kind of toward the back of the end zone.
Right.
And then you've got another concept that ends up here, and then this is called a sprint protection. For those of you that don't know what sprint protection is, you have a running back kind of lead blocking, and everybody kind of flows. God, there's like 20 of them down there. Everybody flows this way, including Joe. And Joe is going to drift all the way back to about the 10 before he throws this. Ends up throwing the ball like 20 yards in the air. But what you'll end up seeing is they get stuck in man coverage down here, which I loathe. That's not a rule of thumb. It's just a philosophy. I just can't stand it.
Right.
So snap the ball. Everybody starts flowing to the right. Joe's drifting. And they kind of ran a rub, which a rub is where you kind of cross 2 guys down here. You can see there's a little bit of traffic.
Yep.
Right. So Boyd runs this flat, and then he's going to run this deep corner, and it creates congestion right here.
And that's a problem. Who they're supposed to cover.
Right. So when we talk about bad play calling, and we talk about mismatches, and we talk about Zach and Brian don't know what they're doing, they knew the Steelers were going to run man down here. That's why they called a rub route with a sprint out concept, because they knew one of these guys was going to flash open for about 0.2 seconds.
So what you're saying, Zach Taylor's a good play caller? I'm just asking.
Zach Taylor, in all honesty, and this is just not me. I've talked to a couple other coaches around the league because I've been able to be lucky to have the conversation with them lately. He is a fine play caller. There's nothing wrong with him. He's not great. He's not exceptional. He's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. He's like the Andy Dalton of play calling, but he's got remarkable talent around him. So it's fun.
He does. Yep.
Okay.
All right, keep going. Sorry.
So now we'll see the other end of this where we have the tight view, the end zone. He's already open. Burrow's already, and he was just getting.
Is he already throwing it?
Yep, Burrow's already got it cocked back here.
That's what I love about Burrow is ready to throw it at any point. If you like you showed the video was last week, Mixon hadn't even looked up and Joe threw it already.
No, out. And quite frankly, Boyd's open too.
Mm-hmm.
He had any of them. It's Burrow and Zach and Brian being on the same page of understanding that for whatever reason, teams are starting to run man against them again.
Which is great. That's what we want them to do.
And what kills me as someone that coached defense, that's an ego thing. Teams that want to get away from zone because they're getting nickeled and dimed the whole time, I would prefer to be nickeled and dimed the whole time for two reasons. One, at some point, someone's going to drop a ball. Percentages are going to get to you. You can't keep going on 15 and 20 play drives and be perfect and spotless and, clean as a whistle. At some point, someone's going to have a holding penalty. And if you're using all 3 downs to get a first down, there's going to be a problem at some point.
Right.
If that's what was holding the Bengals under 25 points a game, check your ego at the door. Understand this is going to be a long game. There's going to be some frustrating 3rd and shorts where you're like, man, we just got to get off the field. At some point, percentages will fall your way and you'll get some breaks in the game. To switch back to man,
you're done.
Check your ego, man. Like, what are you doing? That's just someone that I don't know. That's someone that thinks they're better than what they are.
Is the offense running better just because the offensive line is playing so much better? And that's what I personally think. Where are you at on that? Or is they doing better play calling or whatever?
It's a lot of things, really. So they've switched up their run scheme from a zone to a power gap scheme.
Right.
Which I don't think they're going to do for the long haul. I wish they would personally, but it doesn't marry with their passing game very well. So they're just kind of, that's more of a Band-Aid. The big thing is Joe Burrow's got confidence in his line now. There's no way he had confidence the first 5 weeks. I don't care how smooth he was in press conferences. You can see it in his footwork.
Right.
He had happy feet. He was trigger happy. He was getting rid of the ball. He was holding on to it too long. The last 2 to 3 weeks, he has looked smooth as silk, confident. I mean, it's to the point when he lets a ball go that I don't even hold my breath to see what's going to happen. I just assume it's a completion at this point.
Well, like I said, he's throwing the ball before the guys are open.
Yeah,
he's throwing them open, and I don't think he was doing that at the beginning of the season.
You're not seeing peak Joe Burrow, but you're seeing confident Joe Burrow, and that's a really good start.
That's the thing. We don't want peak Joe Burrow yet. We want peak Joe Burrow in like December,
right
into December.
But it's a combination of they're running the ball just a little bit better. They are pass blocking. You do have depth in terms of guys being able to step up. I mean, they've scored 92 points without Jamar Chase in the last 10 quarters.
And so, I wonder, is that this just came in my head? Is that a blessing in disguise that they've had to go without Jamar, where they don't have that superstar weapon?
So sometimes it is. A lot of
spread the ball a little more, do different concepts or something.
Sometimes it is. And the thing that I always kind of go back to, because I'm a baseball guy, is when the Reds lost Junior and Dunn back in like 2007, 2008, whatever it was, when they were offloading those guys. And everybody's like, oh my God, we're losing our power hitters. Look, sometimes when you become heavily reliant on the heavy hitters,
right,
or their big boppers or your big play receivers,
right,
and you're starting to force feed them and you're not letting the game come to you, whether that's Zach or Brian or Joe or Jamar or whatever, you get away from what you want to do. Sometimes you get in ruts and you start staring guys down and, it forces you to play football as opposed to play catch, if that makes sense.
Well, that's the thing is what I'm interested in.
It can be a blessing for sure. AJ Green went down a few years ago. We saw the same thing with Andy. You had Sanu and Jones step up.
Right.
We saw it at the end of the 2010 season when T.O. and Chad were both out and Carson Palmer had his highest graded game as a Bengal with Jerome Simpson and Andre Caldwell both reaching over 100 yards. Sometimes you need that. I'm not saying it's a blessing in disguise because I don't want anybody to get hurt, but
no, neither do I.
It's a reality check for sure.
How does that I think that bodes well for moving forward, that all they found something without Jamar, and now you bring the superstar back in. to me, that makes it even. I don't think they're going to go back to. I don't want to say forcing the ball to Jamar because I mean Jamar's going to get his targets. I think that makes us even more dangerous because of what the Bengals have found without Jamar. Now you bring him back in, dude. It could be scary.
So the mindset needs to be though, and this just comes from where I've been in the situation before. You're getting a great piece back, but what you've been doing is working. All you do is slide him in, use the same formula, and do what you were doing just with more talent. You don't need to go, okay, Jamar's back. We're going to force these deep balls. We're going to change everything. No.
The thing is,
Jamar's so piece and go.
Jamar's so good. He doesn't need specific plays. All right, this ball is going to Jamar. Jamar will get himself open on just the regular scheme concept. You know,
well, it's a little bit of both. I mean, sometimes you do want to get somebody going. Like it would not surprise me if the first play against Tennessee is called a smoke route, is where you just get it and rip it straight across the field. It's almost like a really quick screen with nobody pulling. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a quick slant or a 5-and-out. Or
I want to bomb the Jamar right off the bat.
No, you got to get them warmed up.
Yeah,
so it just wouldn't surprise me if it's something really, really quick just to get the ball in his hands. It could even just be a jet. Just get it warmed up and the juices flowing. Don't be surprised if that's the first play.
All right, so let's roll. So we talked about last week. We talked a little bit about the Tennessee game, but let's really talk about the Tennessee game coming up here. Like I said, this is the last show of the week for anybody who showed up late. I'm taking tomorrow's Thanksgiving, obviously. Friday is my beautiful bride's birthday. She's 23 years old, so I will be taking Friday off. So with that in mind, me and Prince Ice, Son of Ice, Cat Pole, Sea Dog, whatever the hell you want to call him, my son, and Matty Myers are going down to the Tennessee game. What are the keys to the Tennessee game? Where are we at? Because they don't scare me at all. Like right now, nobody scares me. Even Kansas City doesn't scare me. But where are you at as far as the keys to Tennessee?
I mean, it's stop Henry first and foremost.
We got DJ Reader.
You've got
that's why I'm not scared of him.
Well,
he stopped him last year.
You've got him. He didn't play a ton against Pittsburgh. He was
his first game back,
and I know, but I'm hoping that he's getting into some fluidity with that.
Right.
I hope he knocked off the rust. Let's put it that way. That's just a tall task in itself. The big thing with Henry, you can't let him get momentum going on runs. When he starts really churning and getting around the edge, or when they run off tackle and he can get a couple steps going and really up to speed before he gets to the line, that's when you have trouble.
Right.
You really want him. You need to have instant penetration on the interior. And quite frankly, that's why they haven't been running well this year. Their run blocking on the inside has not been great. And that's why, you look at the last two games, Henry has 47 touches for 150 yards or something. Mm-hmm. He's at like 2.9 yards a carry over the last 2 weeks. That's not
great.
Those are Joe Mixon numbers. I wouldn't be terrified about Joe Mixon right now.
So do the Titans, the question is, do the Titans scare you?
No. They don't have too much big playability. There's not anybody I'm holding my breath with every time they get the ball. Derrick Henry, I hold my breath just because I don't want him to pop one.
Yeah, which he could. I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility.
But at the same time, he's more of a 5 yards, five yards, maybe a 20. He's a grinder. He can pop them, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't been doing that this year. They pose very little to no threat in a deep passing attack. Treylon Burks is still kind of learning how to play receiver. They do have the tight end out of Maryland who kind of showed up recently, but they're scoring like 19 points a game.
Right.
I know that their defensive line is just as good, if not better, than it was last year. But I don't anticipate another 9-sack game.
No, you tweeted. All right, let's now that you brought that up, let's get into that. I know you've been getting all kinds of crap on Twitter about that. God. Which I mean, no, I don't. Do they really think they're going to sack him 9 times? I mean, our offensive line is 10 times better than it was then.
This is what I anticipate. I anticipate him to be under heavy pressure most of the game. They have a very, very good pass rush, and there's no way around that.
No, they do. I agree with that.
9 sacks is a
astronomical number.
That's a video game number. That doesn't happen.
Right.
That was, I mean, that was the running joke of the offseason, and we still won that game. So it's like, unless go ahead, sack them 9 times again. I
Still
guess
beat
like
you. Yeah,
they're not scoring points.
Right. So let's go. Now
Also, and I hate doing this because I'll call myself a hypocrite on this one. I always say it doesn't matter who you beat. A win in the NFL is a win in the NFL.
Right.
But you want to look at their schedule. They've beat a whole lot of nothing. They played the Bills and the Chiefs, lost both those games. Okay. Beat the Colts twice, beat the Texans. I mean, they're beating teams that are just pieces of shit. Call it what it is.
You cuss. Tom's watching the show. You're not supposed to cuss.
They're beating teams that are bottom of the barrel. They're just, and you still have to beat those teams. I get that, but when you're only scoring 19 points a game and you're barely beating bad teams, at some point you're going to play an air raid team like a Kansas City or a Cincinnati or a Buffalo. And quite frankly, they've played 2 of those 3 teams and they're 0-2.
The thing is, you got to be, when you play teams like that, if you can't stop them scoring, which most people can't, you got to be able to score with them. And with Tennessee being a running game, a running team,
so I always,
you don't score that much.
I always liken it to this: you can win with a run game in the NFL. Don't get me wrong, because I know I speak out against featuring a run game quite a bit, and it's well documented. Go through my Twitter; you'll see it a million times a day. And it's not because I don't like running the ball. I love running the ball. I played running back growing up to a degree. My grandfather was a running back. I grew up in a running back family. I coached running backs for a little bit of time. I love running backs. I just don't believe philosophically it's smart to feature a run game as your number one form of attack.
Not this day and age of the NFL now.
And the reason why is, and I always say this, you can rob someone with a knife, but if you're going to bring a running game to a passing game, you're bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Exactly.
You can pull it out, but you're going to lose 9 times out of 10.
Now, Tom here got a good point. He said, "Did I miss the Taylor Britt film review? He had some rookie plays. What's your thoughts on Cam? For a rookie, I thought he had 7 tackles. I thought he did pretty good. I mean, I know
Cam's getting a lot of heat from a lot of people that don't know what they're talking about.
He's a rookie, but he stuck his nose in there. He had 11. I had 11 tackles. Actually, I think about 11 tackles.
This is where I will pump my ethos, my credibility a little bit, if you will. I coached corners in the GCL in Cincinnati for about half a decade. My job was to develop and teach the corners getting ready to play varsity. I was very much kind of the first building block. Part of my job was to develop the kids coming in to see who could play corner and safety. I've currently got 7 kids playing Division I college football right now, including Ohio State, Alabama, UC, all defensive backs. I got a running back at Notre Dame and Northwestern too. I was taught how to watch.
I told you people, he knows his stuff. All right, I'm just saying.
My kids led the GCL in interceptions for 5 straight years. I know my corners.
Two. Let's go.
So without getting too egregious, he's going to be fine. He's a little aggressive at the point of attack at the very, very beginning of the play. He's getting a little bit heavy on his chest, a little bit over his toes. He'll be fine. He's got more than enough talent. He's more than willing to go hit people. He's more than willing to shed blocks. He's awesome against screens already because he's so aggressive. He's really good against the run already. I see him setting the edge, run fits, getting rid of guys, bumping them out of bounds, chasing guys downfield. If he gets burnt, he's recovering. He's got more than enough long speed. He's very rangy. He's very athletic. He's got really good ball skills, quite frankly. It's a matter of letting the game come to him, which comes with age and maturity. He will be fine. He's just getting his feet wet, and he's getting his feet wet against teams that are already in midseason form.
It's his second game.
Right. It's the second game halfway through the year against NFL teams that are churning.
So, yeah.
He'll be fine. I really like Cam Taylor Britt.
I love him.
I think he's going to be better than Dre Kirkpatrick was. If you
is he good enough, like a number 1 cornerback, all pro? You think that's where he's at, or is he just, or where do you think his future lies?
He's going to be somewhere around like Awuzie's level of production.
There you go.
He might get some more. Turnovers just because he is a little bit more aggressive at the point of attack.
Mm-hmm.
but I think he's going to be solid. But he's going to be one of those guys that kind of also is feast or famine, like Diggs over in Dallas, to where he is aggressive. There are going to be times where he gets burnt taking a chance. So you're going to have to live with that. I've already seen it twice this year. But, it's like Joe. Sometimes we yell at him for hanging on to the ball too long, but you're going to live and die with that shit.
Let's make plays, man. They both want to make plays, and
he's going to be a playmaker.
Look, I would take guys every day who are trying to make plays. I mean, and that's kind of the way I feel about my coach. I want a coach to go for it. I want a coach that plays to win. If you're trying to make plays, you're trying to play to win. I'll take that. I'll take the mistakes. I mean, sometimes there'll be big mistakes. Yeah, it happens, but I will take that. A stranger here says nothing against CBT, but I wish the Bengals had seen what I did in. What is this? Trajan Woolen?
Tariq Woolen.
Thank you.
He's one of the guys tearing it up in Seattle right now. No, he was on my board relatively high. You can't teach 6'4", and I think that's kind of the big thing with Tariq Woolen.
And speed. I'm 6'3" and I'm slow. So
Tariq Woolen's kind of like having Richard Sherman with wheels out there. The issue was when you come out of smaller schools and you don't quite have the exposure to all the different levels of receivers and route concepts. You're coming out. I think he was UTSA, isn't that Conference USA?
Yeah.
It's hard to judge.
The Bearcats used to be in there. It's a crappy conference. I know.
Right. Well, I went to Marshall. I was
right. Exactly. Conference. Yeah. Exactly. We know all about it.
It's not a. Sometimes the physical tools are there, and there's all the data in the world that says it's going to work. But sometimes the film you're not sold on what you're seeing. That was the issue with Tariq Woolen.
I mean, full disclosure, I wanted
he looks so good against bad talent that you're like, is this fool's gold? So what you do is you look at someone like Cam Taylor-Britt, and you're like, okay, that's Nebraska. That's Big Ten ball. That's the right size, the right intangibles, the right athleticisms, everything measured off the charts. The film's still good. It's a safer prospect, if that makes sense.
Like I said, full disclosure, I wanted the Bengals to draft Kobe Bryant. That's who I wanted.
Oh, I did too.
I wanted, and I can't remember if he was. I think he was gone before they drafted Cam Taylor-Britt. I think I can't remember, to be honest.
I don't know.
I
spend so much time on the draft, and once it's over, it's a break.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why you and Dale are my draft gurus. I love having you guys on. Like, you guys are on like 25 times on my show during March. I just keep having you guys on. Let's talk draft.
I have so many binders just laying around of just junk of draft.
But that's why I love having you on. You got a whole bunch of this. I don't. It's not useless knowledge. It's useful knowledge, and I appreciate it. So, all right, man. We've been on about almost an hour here. Let's tell everybody about your podcast before we get out of here. Rally Around the Natty, because it used to just be you and Bengal Dad. Now you've added two freaking maniacs to your show. One of them named Greg, who thinks Die Hard's not a Christmas movie, but whatever. And the other one is Sissy James. So tell us about Rally, what you guys got going on, and your sponsorship. You guys are also a part of Betfred now.
Right. So, I do a show called Rally Around the Natty. It started out just Dad and I kind of back porch bickering about the Reds and Bengals, more or less. Things kept progressing with the show. We had Cincy James on a couple times, and we had Greg Luther on a couple times. And, the shows really seemed to kind of pick up some steam. People kind of liked it. It added just a little bit more depth and variety to the show. And maybe we should just ask these guys to be full-time. And Dad and I were like, yeah, 100%. It works great. Asked them to go. And then shortly after, Betfred's reaching out, wanting to do some ambassadorship stuff with us. So we're partnering with Betfred now. I'm not going to drop my link here because Jeff's got his, and I'm not about to take that away from him right now. But we're on Mondays and Wednesdays at 7. We do try to get some guests here periodically. We make fun of players too much to get them on the show. So it'll be more some local reporters, maybe some insiders every once in a while that'll pop on and say hi. But no, it's a good show, and we'll be on here in about 30 minutes, actually.
Yeah, and you got potential. I don't know if you want to tell everybody, but you got potential. I'll just do a little hint of a pretty good one here. You're a historian. I'll just put it that way. Unless you want to give more description about it.
We don't have him scheduled just yet, but it's like 99%. So I'll wait till we have the full
Yeah. But
lock in.
it's a pretty good get if you guys get them. So
Yeah.
anyway, make sure you guys go check them out. So they're gonna be out here in about 30 minutes, about 7:00.
Yep.
So go check them out and check out Santori. He's on Twitter and he does a great, like I said, he does a great job of doing film breakdown and everything. And he's one of my buddies, so I had to keep him on here. So I appreciate you, Santori. We'll do this again next Wednesday after we talk about the Bengals whooping the Titans' ass.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, brother. See you in about a half hour.
Yep. Peace.
Who day. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Like I said, go check out Rally Around the Natty. Go check out Santori, Bengal Dad, the Crazy Man, Greg Luther, my boy Cincy James. Go check those guys out. They do a great job on Rally, and a lot of their stuff that they're trying to do is a lot for which Santori didn't even mention this. They're doing a lot of stuff for charity, so make sure you guys support that program. I'd appreciate it. Now, another one I want to give a shout out to is my boy Ted Karras. He is with Cincy hats, and they just launched yesterday. You can get those cool Cincy hats. I don't have one yet. I'm gonna have to try to get one. But those are going to, and I cannot remember the name of the charity. I wish I knew, but it's going to a charity here in Cincinnati, and that's what's cool about the Bengals players and stuff. They do a lot of stuff for charity, a lot of stuff for just Cincinnati fans in general, just trying to help out. So if you guys could do me a favor, you've seen the hats that Ted Karras is wearing. They're really cool. They just say Cincy across them. You get an orange one, a black one, white one. They're at cincyhats.com. I think that's right. Just off the top of my head. Either way, look up Cincy Hats and Ted Karras. I tweeted out. It's on my Twitter. I put a link out of when it was launching. So go out there and buy these hats. Support my boy Teddy K because he is a friend of the show, and I love it. Teddy K said, now I know, if you guys are old viewers, I said that Evan McPherson was going to come on my show. Evan told me he was going to come on my show 2 years ago. I could never get a hold of him. So I've talked to Ted Karras. Ted Karras has actually been on my show. He said he's going to come back again. I don't know when. I would highly doubt it. It would be during the season, but you never know. We'll have to see. But my appreciation to Ted and just being a good Bengal and a good, I don't want to say friend. We're not friends yet. I would love to be a friend with him. That'd be awesome. But acquaintance and just a good guy. So I appreciate him and everything that he has helped me out with over this last couple months. Anyway, let's get to the Facebook groups that let me live stream. And as always, I appreciate every single one of them. They are Who Dey Nation, Who Dey Legion, Bearcat Ruckus, the Ohio State Bucknuts, Bearcat Ruckus. Did I say that right? I did. I'm going to say the Ice Bar. And then you follow me. I wrote Bearcat Ruckus twice. I really want you to join Bearcat Ruckus. So Bearcat Ruckus and the Ice Bar. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trinopole. TikTok is at Iceman90. Saturday, I will be at the Moreland House. Like I said, this is the last show this week because I'm taking, obviously, tomorrow's Thanksgiving and Friday's my beautiful bride's birthday. We're going to hang out with her. So this is my last show. You guys want to come see me? Come see me Saturday. I'll be down at the Moreland House. They're doing a Christmas store of the different, I think it's different countries. I know Greg sent me the link. The owner of the Moreland House sent me the link of everything they got going on. And I read it, but I didn't read it. Let me see that. Let's see. I'll bring it up here real quick. Hold on. If I can find it and I can read it to you. There we go. Okay. Oh my goodness. I need my glasses. Yeah, okay, it's a European flair to small riverfront park. And it's in the lawn. Never belonged to. Okay, this is way too small to read. It's just saying, there's number 25. I'm gonna be there. It's a lot of European Christmas stuff. Nutcrackers, ornaments, candles. More will be available for sale. Personalized Christmas stockings, ornaments can be made on the site. I don't know what that says. But anyway, it sounds like a really cool thing. It's down at the Moorline House. If you don't know where the Moorline House is, well, I don't know how you don't know where it is. It's right outside GAPP. It's in a perfect spot. Go check it out. So you got the Moorline House and you got the green area there, grassy area where they're going to be having this. It sounds like a great time. Come down. It's the day after, 2 days after Christmas. Or excuse Christmas, 2 days after Thanksgiving. So we're getting into the Christmas spirit. So come down there, buy some stuff, sign up for Betfred. Hell, you just want to come and hang out with me? Come on down. Well, I'll be down there for at least 2 hours, starting at 11 a.m. on Saturday. So make sure you guys check me out. I'll be there. YouTube, I'm at 1,972. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Like I said, I've been doing this for almost 4 years. Come January will be my 4-year anniversary. I'm getting close to 2,000 subs. I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers. Again, and I know I say this a lot, but I really mean it. If it wasn't for you guys watching the show or pay attention to what this crazy Bengals Cincinnati sports fan has to say, none of this stuff would happen. And I honestly mean that. I'm not just blowing smoke. I honestly mean I appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting the show, tweeting it out, subscribing, telling people about it. I do appreciate it. I really do. So this weekend, tomorrow, Thanksgiving, I want you guys to go to your family's house, eat a ton of turkey, eat a ton of ham, take a nap, get ready for some football, because we're going to watch football, which is a tradition here in Cincinnati. That's why I love Thanksgiving. You get food, you have alcohol, and you have football and family. What could be better? So you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I can't wait till this week. Come check me out at Moorline House. I will be there starting at 11 a.m. Remember, Moorline House outside 11 a.m. I don't think it's going to be too cold. Sunday, I'm going to the Bengals game. Titans. I hope to God it doesn't rain because it's going to suck. Other than that, I'll see you guys Monday. You have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Ready? Say it with me. And that's just sports, baby. See ya!
Let's go. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, day we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and drippin' orange and black and white. Day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the feast, every day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, drippin' heat. Tigers strike the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you reppin', who they? Time to put your hands up. Bingo stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Who they in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle drippin'. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feastin' now. Fit the bounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and drippin' orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em. Like that black and orange upon 'em, bingo bought 'em. Never stop it till the beast and know 'em. Who ain't rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossin' on the wings, Cincinnati.